Hello, my name is Dmitry. I'm a founder of Airvoice. We work in the field of air quality monitoring and management systems, both for indoors and outdoors.
Okay. Dimitry, welcome to the Founder Thesis podcast. Uh, this is the first time I am interviewing somebody who grew up in Russia. And Russia is not a place where, you see the Western world because of TV shows and Hollywood movies and all, but I don't know what Russia is like. What is it like growing up in Russia? Can you just I want to hear your life story a little bit, like.
Okay. Thank you for your question. Yeah, I will try to disclose some, history, some feelings about being grown up in Russia. Uh, Basically, Russia is very different from my point of view. So I was born literally in not even in Russia, but in Soviet Union, and so I was born in 1981, and I had a really nice and pleasant and happy childhood. I mean,
What did
everything
your
was.
parents do?
They are uh, like scientists. I mean, at least they graduated from Novosibirsk State University. So my mother, she was studying biology, and also my father was studying biology at the university. But after graduating university, all these changes became in the country, and basically they almost did not work like accordingly to their education, to their profession. And after that, after graduating university, my parents, they switched to some other, some other activities, some other job, and they were somehow connected to entrepreneurship. At least they tried. So they didn't become, like big and successful entrepreneurs, but it was very important to survive that time. But initially,
What
yes, they are
happened?
from University.
Uh,
Uh-huh.
why couldn't they pursue their what they studied? What changed?
Because it was, let me recall, I suppose, so I was born in 1981, and like in these years and after that, especially when we're talking about 1990s, it was very difficult times in the country, and like salaries for scientists were really low, and it was nearly impossible to survive if you are like a scientist. And that this time a lot of people, they switched. So either they go abroad to and manage to continue their like careers somewhere, uh, or they switched to another business. So it was a crisis. It was like really tough crisis in the country.
And
But at the same
what
time,
did you? What was the business that your parents tried?
uh, it was also like a kind of attempt to create high tech businesses, because they managed to switch to some. So as I remember, it was really many years ago. So, but they tried to create a kind of high tech company, or like joint company with somebody from abroad, and they were working on like different sensors for measurements of body conditions, like humidity,
Okay.
temperature, and something. It was like a kind of high tech. So they still were working in the field of science research, but it was more business than science.
But you always had food on the table. It was.
Yes, maybe sometimes it was like really difficult, because it was not only matter of money, it was also matter of like availability of some products. But it was never, how to say, it was never too sad. I mean, it was always a kind of funny story. And I mean, if you, for example, if you don't have butter, you can create it. And my grandma, I do remember this. this small story. She managed to create it from milk, like out of milk, and yeah, it was. I mean, but in general, yes, we were not suffering too much from that.
Okay,
But you know,
okay.
when you are young, when you are a kid, if you, I mean, how to say, if everything is okay in your family, you can easily, tolerate. You can easily overcome all the like external obstacles, and you do not feel it. You do not treat it as as a like huge problem. So everything is in your mind, right?
True, so true. Yeah. So, what did you want to pursue, like education wise? Like, what were your ambitions growing up?
Speaking about me, but my education, right? If I understand it properly. Yeah. So
Yes.
first of all, initially I went to very typical school, nothing special. But after the seventh or sixth grade, uh, I decided to change the school, and I attended to like a little bit better school in Akademgorodok. It's like a scientific part of Novosibirsk, my hometown. And at this school, I attended physics and math class, and this one was like better. Like my new school was located in the Akademgorodok. It stands for scientific town in my hometown named Novosibirsk. And at this school, I entered phys and math class, and it was my like first connection to physics and mathematics, and it was really good and a kind of life-changing event. So after graduating from the school, I attended Novosibirsk State University physics department, and like our physics department is one of the best in the country. I think it's like uh, one of the like first three best departments in the country, and also it is really well acknowledged worldwide because, for example, after you graduate physics department at Novosibirsk State University, you can easily go anywhere and continue your research scientific career. You can become a PhD students like literally everywhere. And for example, for now, a lot of my you know classmates, not classmates, but the guys we studied together at Novosibirsk State University. For now, a lot of them are, professors in different universities all over the world, and it helps us also to, for example, to run some joint projects for now. So it was Novosibirsk State University. And after, like, I graduated from Novosibirsk State University, we had a system, we had like bachelor degree, and after that you can complete master degree. So after my master degree, I became a PhD student at Institute of Catalysis in Novosibirsk. But at the same time, like that time, we began to think about the simple idea that to be a scientist, it's not the only way to do something useful, and you can also at least try or think about creation some high-tech products that will be useful for many people. So, and literally after these 3 years of PhD study, we created our first company. It was a very fast decision. We spent, I don't know, 2 weeks to decide that it's a good idea. And it took, I don't know, 2 more weeks to find our first business angel. And that's how our first company named Tion appeared in 2006.
You did this with your fellow PhD students.
Yes, in general, yes. Uh, there were like four of us, and they were not like not everyone among them were from physics department, but at least we were all from Novosibirsk State University. But that
And
time in
what was?
2006, sorry,
Sorry,
but that
please
time,
continue.
yeah, 2006, it was not a kind of, it wasn't already a kind of, sorry, it wasn't yet a kind of fashion to make high-tech companies. It was something I would say unusual because there were no like proper infrastructure to create your startups, especially high tech startups. So it was something new, and it was that's why it was really challenging.
What was the idea?
Idea was to create like air purifier based on photocatalytic methods of oxidation. So, you know, when we were like PhD students, we worked on some technologies for photocatalytic oxidation, and this technology, like in principle, it allows you to um, destruct, to oxidize, and to destruct all the organic compounds up to CO2 and some mineral compounds. And it can be used to remove all the organic pollutants from the air without like any need to change the filters. And we thought that we have like miracle in our hands, and we can apply this technology to create a really good product. But our like experience was equal to zero in this, not in the field of photocatalytic oxidation, but in the field of creation of products. And I think that maybe like 3 years later, we understood that photocatalytic oxidation is not an option. I mean, at least it's not the best option and not the best technology to solve the problems we try to solve. But by that time, we already created some more technologies, and we already become, company. And so that's why we refused using photocatalytic oxidation, but everything else was used to create professional air purifiers. And first of all, it's also, by the way, it's also interesting to mention that we thought about creation a product for like for mass product. I mean, create mass product for B2C market, for households, but it is extremely difficult to start from this idea. It's much more easier to start from like professional products when you have not that many customers. You have only like few customers, but requirements from them you can understand, and at least you can agree on requirements, and you can develop technologies or products accordingly to these requirements. And that's why exactly like after first 6 months of our startup, we changed our like direction. So we started from creation something for households, but we decide it's not possible, and we decided to create something for professional customers. And that was one of the good decisions in our track.
You said you found a business angel. You mean like a somebody who invested money?
If you're talking about Tion, yes, we found like business angel. Again, I would say that I would mention that like all this, VC environment is not well developed. At least it was not well developed that times, and there were no like VC funds, and there were no like regular procedure how you can get money. But like our Академгородок is a scientific part of Novosibirsk. It's very small, and as we have a joke that a concentration of smart, nice, and like powerful people is really high, and you always have maybe it's not like your friend, but at least it can be like friend of your friend who will be ready to invest. And that was exactly true for us. So we found a friend of our friend who decided that, I mean, he said us like following. I do not nothing about all these, air purification business. I do not nothing about photocatalysis, but you guys, yeah, you look like, I mean, nice, and I believe that you can do it. And you talk something reasonable, and yes, I can give you some money. But it's also very interesting that we were mistaken in terms of amount of money we need to get to, I don't know, to break-even point, and in terms of time we need. And our mistake was, I mean, 10 times. I mean, we promised to conquer the market like for the next 6 months, and we promised to do it. We needed something like $100,000 approximately. but it took 10 times more in terms of money and in terms of time only to get to break-even point. And it's okay. I mean, if you do something really complicated, really difficult, it's okay. And you have to be, persistent. You have to be, marathon runner.
Amazing. The business angel continued to support you for that five. So you said it took you like 5-6 years to become break even. So you continued to get funds from him, or you had to find other investors.
After that, we found a lot of new investors. But speaking about this one, business angel, his name is Gennady. He's still with us, and I mean, even now we have a lot of different projects, and now he is a part of all our projects because he was, and he is not only about money. He's about, I don't know, a kind of spirit, and he's really nice and friendly guy. So, and it's now we are like connected, uh, not only in like business terms. So we do together many different projects.
Interesting. Uh, so I want to understand what is this photocatalytic oxidation, and before that, like a bigger question. So air purifier in India, at least, air purifier means to protect you from pollution. Is that what you thought in Russia? That air purifier for pollution? Because I don't think Russia has a pollution problem.
It is has sorry. Of course, it has a lot of pollution issues, and I will, of course, I will talk about it. But yeah, if you allow, let's start from photocatalytic oxidation, and then I'll try to explain the idea of how you can protect yourself from air pollutants, because even like air purifiers, they are usually not enough to protect yourself. So speaking about photocatalytic oxidation, first of all, I need to declare that the last time I have, talked about it, it was, I don't know, 10 years ago, something like that. But anyway, I will try to recall. So basically, you have, that you can use a catalyst to, I don't know, for example, to clean all these exhausted gases from engines, right? But all these typical catalysts, for them to work, they need high temperature. For example, when we're talking about exhausted gases from the engines, temperature is really high, like 400 degrees, maybe 600 degrees. And for the catalytic process, it's a kind of similar process, but for catalyst to be activated, we need to apply not temperature, but UV radiation. And we have like some substance, like made of very small crystals. And when you radiate it by UV of some given wavelengths, it became active. And any like molecule, any organic molecule, when it touches this surface, it it decays, and it decays to like carbon, to some other mineral compounds, and so that's how it basically works. So, for example, if you're talking about some hydrocarbons that consist only of carbon, oxygen, and hydrogen, so this photocatalytic process will lead us to creation of only CO2 and H2O and water, and that's it. And you can, even if at the beginning it was something really dangerous molecule or compound or gas, it will be destroyed. I mean, decayed to CO2 and water, and it really works. I mean, when we're talking about all this, laboratory research and experiments, it really works. It can be proven that it works. It works like it's well-known technology. But the most like peculiar part is how to create a product using this technology. When you try to scale, when you try to apply it on industrial scale, you have a lot of side effects you have to take into account.
What kind of side effects? Like why didn't it become a product?
For example, you can have like just not maybe the major side effect, but anyway, like to make it uh, within like reasonable size and reasonable, I don't know, pressure drop. If we're talking about photocatalytic filters, you have to pull air within quite high, velocity. And in this regime,
Okay.
you will have some intermediate products. For example, you have something like organic compound on the, at the inlet, and then, for example, you will not have enough time to how to say, to oxidize it up to CO2 and water, and you will have some intermediate products of the reaction in the air. And sometimes these intermediate products can be even more dangerous than initial, and you have to be very careful with that. And like many more. And also in like typical conditions of exploitation, it turned out that you have to apply really, a lot of UV radiation. And so energy consumption of these filters are quite high, like much more high than expected, and many, many more. But again, in some applications, still it can be used. I mean, I don't say that it cannot be totally used by now. For example, if you're talking about like small areas, small spaces, like for example, refrigerator, very, very small. So you can do it like small filter, airflow will not be really high, but it will be enough. And if you have enough, how to say, time, if you can recirculate air many, many, many times, it is okay. It works
Hmm.
well. But if we're talking
Okay.
about like, systems where you have only like one attempt to clean air, it's not very good.
Uh, okay. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. So you decided to make professional air purifiers. What kind of customers was it for? Was it for, like, say, people who need a clean room, like, say, pharmaceutical companies, those kinds, or was it also for like regular office people, or like
Them,
what was the
them,
problem you were
them
solving?
also. It's a very very good question. Like before, like answering this question, I would mention how to say, how we thought and how we moved. So we decide, first of all, we decide to work with like more professional customers, at least with like corporate customers, and we went like how to say, very like widely. We start communicating with many potential customers where we could imagine that they can potentially have air quality problem. They were like big offices, hospitals, airports, biolaboratories, pharmaceutical companies, etc., etc., etc. And it was very interesting period of our development because we had a lot of feedback, and we were listening to this feedback, adjusting technologies and adjusting products. It was not like selling already existing products. It was like developing something that, I mean, something custom for our clients. And after this period, we found out that the highest demand and the best product market fit or technology market fit uh, lays in like applications for hospitals, because we managed not only to remove all the pollutants, including like microorganisms, but we also managed to like to kill these microorganisms after they are captured by our filters. So we provided not only like high level of air purification or high level of high standard of in terms of clean rooms standards, but also managed to make our filters clean and safe. And that was the first phase of our like exponential growth. We found out that our technologies are better implemented there, and we created line of products for hospitals. And after that, we focused on this market. We spent a couple of years to to develop, to adjust, and then we allowed ourselves to a little bit to step back and to start developing these technologies in other directions that were on hold while we were working for hospitals. So speaking about this professional like direction, we work with like hospitals, big buildings. We work with biolaboratories. We work with clean rooms. We work with pharmaceutical companies. We work with, for example, sewage pumping stations, and we clear. So we purify air. We remove all these odors, and it's, by the way, it's one of the most complicated problem because of course you can do it, but to do it like within a reasonable cost, it's not that easy. And especially to do it within like very different, weather condition or climate condition, it's a hard problem, but it was solved, and it was like professional applications. And after we spent, I don't know, I believe 7 years working with these professional customers, and after we, cross break-even point, we decided to like finally to start working and start creating products for B2C market, for households. So we returned to our initial idea. But by that time, we already understood that photocatalysis is not an option. And also, by that time, we understood that to clean air in recirculation regime is also not a really good idea. I mean, it is better than doing nothing, but it doesn't solve all your problems you have. Because if you're talking about like rooms or like buildings, rooms inside buildings, offices, and so on, you have you have not only to remove pollutants like PM2.5, PM10, and some, organic compounds, but also it's very, very important to remove CO2 people exhale, because otherwise you will have these high levels of CO2, and it can be dangerous, or at least it's not healthy, or it's bad for your, productivity, mood, and so on. And what we decide to create a product named Breezer. Like generally speaking, it's small, compact ventilation unit, personal ventilation unit, or we can call it like TFA, treated fresh air unit. But and it's installed on the wall, connected to the outer air. It pulls air from outside. It's very important to understand that CO2 levels outside are always really low. It filters out all the pollutants, particles, organic compounds, and so on. And it brings you enough fresh and clean air, and it replaces all your polluted air, and it replaces CO2 from like in your room with clean fresh air. And it's a kind of new approach. I mean, this approach is used in big buildings, in HVAC systems, but this approach was never used within like not really big households. So we created that kind of product lines. But to create something, it's how to say, it's never-ending story. It never works like you create something, now you have product and you can sell and you can stop developing. Like when you start developing something new, all like even your R&D department will grow along with your business, because you always have feedback, you have like new ideas what can be implemented, and it is even more demanding in terms of like people, in terms of manpower, to develop products than to create the first version. So that how that is the second business unit, second direction of Tion. And now Tion, it's like Russian-based company. Uh, it has two business units, like like business unit engaged in professional air quality equipment, air purifiers, and in these households. Yeah, and after that we decided, we understood that to make air clean, it's very important not only to to filter out pollutants or to take air from outside. It's also very, very important to measure, and it's better to start from measuring parameters of air environment inside buildings, outside buildings. Uh, at least it will help people to understand and to like realize the importance of air quality and understand how it can potentially affect them, and to see the results that they will have after implementing one on another, hardware solution. And that's how like Magic Air system appeared. It was our first attempt to create a software product. It's a set of sensors that can monitor air quality inside building, and also this software can control all these devices like breathers, air conditioners, air purifiers, air humidifiers, and so on. And it was like our first attempt in Tion.
Okay. So I want to just recap a little bit. Uh, when so you said after about 6 7 years you went back into consumer air purifiers, and
Yeah.
what you decided to do was like the breezer product.
Yes.
So I'm guessing this is a product for slightly colder places, right? This would not work in Gurgaon, for example, because
It
Gurgaon is so
works. It
hot
works.
that you
It works, and it
like
is how to say.
you could pull in external air. Wouldn't it really heat up the room if you are pulling air from outside?
But the first part of the answer is the following: it already works in Gurugram, and works in
Okay.
India, and basically it is exactly what we
In the
do
summer,
now. Yeah, but you
it
always, of course, you at the same time you have to uh, continue using AC. But what breather does, so if you don't have breather, still you have some air flows from outside. If there were no air flows, you will suffocate, literally, up to the death.
right,
Like 12 hours and that's it. If you are like, have really totally sealed room, right? And that means that you
right.
anyway you have this airflow. But if they are not, if they are like a kind of organical airflows, that it means that this air contain all the pollutants. So what breather does? It gives you enough amount. In somehow it stops all other flows with polluted air, and it gives you only one flow but with a clean air. In terms of energy balance, you will have the same situation. And of course, still you need to apply air conditioner to lower the temperature. By the way, one of the potential next steps of the breather development, it will be integration between breathers and ACs. It can become like an uniform, I mean, the same system. At least even now, they are already connected in terms of controls. So we have like mobile application that controls them simultaneously, and it helps to adjust regimes of breathers and ACs. But again, it's like very, 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 very small and the most, I mean, the easiest part of our products we create, and it's only initial part of our entrepreneurship and our like high tech journey.
Okay. An air conditioner also pulls in air from outside, or an air conditioner is
No,
only circulating?
in vast majority of cases, it doesn't pull air from outside. It only recirculates it
Okay.
and cool it down. So you have this, pipe from air conditioner that is connected to outer heat pump, but there is no air in this pipe. It's only a substance to remove heat. It's like a
Okay.
heat exchanger. So it's not about that. By the way, it really, I mean, in spite of being quite simple idea or simple concept that yes, you need air from outside to remove CO2, and at the same time this air should be uh, cleaned like from all the pollutants. So it's like very basic idea, but it took several years to educate market that breathers they are different from air purifiers and from air conditioners, and it's not easy because concept of AC or concept of air purifier they are already in our minds, and it's quite difficult to create another mindset. So we managed to do that, and now we breathers become a kind of new standard, at least like back in Russia. And now we
Okay.
brought breathers here in India, and we are going to create the same approach, the same new product category here, and we are already working on that. We already started sales. But the most interesting part of our journey, I mean, not the most interesting, but the next and not less intensive was the following. So after Tion, as our first company became successful and relatively big, I don't know, now we have approximately 500 people, something like that, working there. Uh,
How much
it,
revenue does it do, Tion?
it is approximately, I don't know, $30 million, something like that.
Okay. Okay. And it's
Yeah.
a private company.
Yeah, it's a private company. Yes.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
so yeah, and but after it became quite big, at the same time it became. I would not say that it became slow, but to create something new inside Tion became more difficult than before because like every new professional guy from you hire to R&D team start working on already existing products. We try to to prohibit them from working on already existing products. We try to do everything, but it typically doesn't work. If you have your mainstream, it will suck all the resources for this mainstream. And it's not, and at these stages of development, it's not interesting for me as a for entrepreneur, because uh, I prefer working on the like first stages, when you have to create concept. It's a kind of combination
The
between like
zero to one
technology.
journey.
Yeah, 0 to 1, maybe to 1.5, but yeah, something like that. And that's how CTR was created. It was our second company. So after we
Which
acquired
year?
some city air, like
Uh,
air of city,
which?
city.
Okay,
Sorry.
and which year was it
Year,
created?
sorry. Yeah, it was like legal entity was established in 2018. But we
Okay,
start working on this project yearly, because it was initially it was internal project inside Tion. And I believe that we started working on that in 2014, something like that, 2015. And in
okay.
2018, we made a kind of spin out. And so, speaking about CTA, so we started it um, after we acquired enough knowledge and expertise in the field of measurements of air quality. But it's not difficult to measure air quality inside buildings. There is no like rocket science in that kind of sensors. But it's quite complicated to measure air quality outside. At least it's quite complicated to do it in reliable manner. I mean, to have like reliable readings, it's not that easy. Of course, there are a lot of products like very small sensors you can put outside, and you will see some figures, but how they are connected to reality, it's a big question. And so we started working on that. And initially, we didn't even know what will be a business model, or we didn't even know will it be business or not, because our idea was to understand how we can measure parameters of ambient air, and how we can measure ambient air quality. And the idea was that, for example, if we will not managed to create it to transfer. I mean, to transform into a business. At least we will do a kind of open map with air quality accessible for everyone, and it will be. It potentially could be huge auditory, and we can define how to convert it, for example, in sales or breezers, something like that. But it turned out to be a business, and we start working with industrial companies and with like big cities or regions, because they have a need in this kind of system. But it's much more than sensors. Sensors, like reliable sensors, you use only to measure in some given points. But at the same time, you need to apply quite sophisticated and advanced math modules and a platform that help us and our customers not only to understand what is happening right now at any given point, but also helps to understand what are the reasons for observed air quality, and what is the like forecast, and also what can be like strategically done to improve air quality. For example, how your like managerial decisions on a city level will affect air in 5 or 10 years, or some decisions can affect like immediately. So it's like holistic system. It's much more than sensors. Moreover, now sensors is not the main part of the system. So that's how CTA appeared. And after that, after it became like at least technology leader in Russia, we decided that it's time to go global, because the air quality problems we solve, they are not, associated with any country. It's a global problem, and we decided to cut all our, Russian businesses, to exit all our Russian businesses, and we decide to create a new legal entity in the United States, and made it like headquarters with all the necessary, team members, intellectual property, and so on. And we decide to reboot us. And after that, we start searching for the first country as for our like market or for our like base. And we were really lucky to meet our that time potential, but now like existing partners in India. And that's how CTR India appeared. So CTR India, this company, I mean, I'm now currently I'm at the office of Intelligence CTR India in Gurugram, and this company it is a joint venture company between our like Airvoice global legal entity and Indian partners. And we brought all the necessary technologies, products, competences here, and we continue to develop technologies, we continue to develop products, and we continue to develop markets. And again, we are at the phase when we go quite wide. I mean, we have all these products, and I believe that in 1 year or something not far from 1 year, we will decide to focus on something. But now we are working in three areas. It's like breathers and similar products for households, like ultimate solution to improve air quality, and two types of systems to monitor and to control air quality for big buildings. So it's like Airvoice indoor system, and for cities and industrial companies, it's like Airvoice outdoor system. So yeah, that's where we are right now. And by the way,
Okay,
it's really
interesting.
interesting and challenging. I mean, so India sounds. I mean, there is no need to explain importance of air quality. At the same time, economy is growing, and also there isn't like I would say proven ambitions of India to become like international hub for technology development, and all this like business environment perfectly fits our 18 years expertise in the field of air quality and management projects, businesses, high tech companies. And I think that we are at the right place at the right time.
Interesting. Okay, so did you like all the co-founders exited Tion, or like some of you are running Airvoice and some are running Tion?
Some of them are still in tune, so we
Okay,
split it.
okay. You split that, and so what is your in when you started this in Russia? Who was like your first customer there for for City Air? Like was it a city or like what did you learn in Russia? About
It,
kind of customers, what their needs are.
Yeah, it was a city. Even I mean, it was even a region. So it's not city, but it's like a little bit like larger than city. And
Okay.
but I think that we had a kind of uh, two types of customers simultaneously, like cities and industrial companies. So cities want to know what is happening, what are the reasons, how it can be improved, and also cities need tools for communications with the public. It's also very important. At least after you start monitoring and you start thinking about importance of air quality, you already can start talking about this, and it's good for your reputation. Yeah, and speaking about industrial companies, the problem is a little bit different. So I mean, they care about how they affect environment, and they need to know, for example, how pollutants from their chimney, how they spread, and how they cover like local cities nearby. And we give them that kind of tools that help not only to understand like total amount of pollutants they emitted, but also that helps them to understand how exactly it affects, and not only how, but also when it will affect the most. I mean, yeah, when it will affect. And we give them that kind of forecast, and they can use, for example, this forecast to reduce amounts of emission for, I don't know, for 2 hours, to wait a little bit. And after, for example, our forecast says that these pollutants will disperse in other direction, they can, uh, enlarge, like amount of emissions for this period of time. So two types of customers. Of course, it's not the like strategic business model because it's quite difficult to work with regions and industrial companies. They have very specific requirements, and it's like really long projects and big projects, and like demanding. It's not like product in the box. You cannot just sell and forget. It's it's joint projects that also contains or presumes some joint research, some of customization, adaptation, and that kind of stuff. But also there are several like opportunities to make this business scalable. And for example, after you have enough data sources and after you have all the data on at street scale resolution about air quality in cities, this data or services based on data will become useful and will become on high demand for many other customers. For example, I don't know, insurance companies. They also want to know what is the air quality at the location where the customers live to improve the insurance models. Or I don't know, for example, even so, and many more. So, and maybe one day we will come to this business model. We will see.
Interesting, interesting, very interesting. How much time does it take to for your deployment? Like, if a industrial complex wants to work with you, then I assume you will set up sensors in a particular area, and all of that will. There must be some deployment time. What is that?
I would answer in the following way. We can, how to say, we can start fast. And typically we start from like small parts of the future project. We start from deploying like a couple of sensors and from deploying very simple math module. And this period of time can take, I don't know, 1 month, not more than that. But
Okay.
to complete full-fledged project, it can take 1 year or 2 years. It will strongly depend on uh, customer needs.
Okay.
And,
Okay.
and we,
Okay.
we
Understood.
always try to split these projects in two, maybe three parts to start work like immediately, because it's also, it will, I mean, even to educate our customers to use our solutions will take part, and they can start, learning how to use them after the first initial stage. And even if after they have some small portion of our product, they will start, learning.
Okay. What is the use of math in this? So, essentially, from what I understand, the Airvoice platform is sensors plus math,
Yes.
which then presents on a dashboard some recommendations or some information or some insights. How does the math help here? Like,
It's a very good question. Yeah, and like first of all, uh, when we are talking about math, we are talking about numerical atmospheric models. We need to be able to simulate, atmosphere. We need to know how to simulate all the air flows, weather conditions. We use transportational models to predict how pollutants spread along with these, air flows in atmosphere, and it's a kind of hierarchical model. So basically, we start from a global forecast system. It's not us. It's something that we can take like every 12 hours, or every 24 hours. It's like forecast for the nearest 24 hour in global scale. It's forecast of the weather condition or atmosphere condition, and then we apply.
who sells this data? The
It's
global forecast
international.
data. Is it
It is international and it's publicly available. By the way, it's
okay?
it's how to say, bless John Kennedy, because he was the one who creates all this meteorology data available and free. It was a very famous speech. I mean, he said something like, "We live on the same planet, and all this environment is like something that we use in common." And it happens that happened that all these global institutions that work in the field of weather forecast, typically they give at least like low resolution data for free, and you can like everyone can access. But it's only the first
Okay.
step because the resolution is low
And
and
this comes from satellite
it
or from
comes from
sensors?
satellite. It comes from like math mode. It's like literally it is very big, very large code, simulation of the atmospheric and a lot of math. I don't know, Navier-Stokes equations,
Okay.
or at least some approximation of Navier-Stokes equations are used to solve it. So it's always so they have data, of course, and it's like also like real time data or nearly real time data, but this data is used to adjust models, and they use a lot of computers, a lot of processors to simulate,
Mm.
and it's never-ending story. They always are, calculating and this forecast and huge amount of these numerical resources are used to simulate it. So, and we start from that, from a global forecast system. It is like, say, let's simplify. It's like weather forecast, but within the low resolution. And then we
Mm.
apply some more methods. For example, there is like well-known in narrow area of specialists, like group of methods called WRF. So we use them to increase like spatial and temporal resolution of the weather forecast or of these atmospheric air flows. And after that, we use some transportational models like Chimera and some more. It's very professional. It's names of these systems or of these families of codes for professionals. And after that, we use and it's already exists and it's accessible. And after that, we use physics-informed machine learning approaches to adjust all these big models and big systems, and like we use to adjust them and to train our like neural networks. We use real-time data, so it's hierarchical models, and it's quite it's quite professional and quite complicated part. By the way, it's a quite generally speaking, you have to have a lot of researchers to develop this. It's not easy and very professional. And of course, for example, if you're talking about like street scale resolution of air pollutants, uh, it will take years to develop it. But what we do, we managed to understand how to work with different universities. So we have a lot of partners from universities in different countries, and we managed how to work with them. So basically, we gave them like data or some infrastructure, and they run the like research. So, for example, they can create some adjustments to existing models, and if these models or like small parts are successful, we can integrate it back to our platform, and they will have like uh, payments like as a license payments. So it's good model, and that's why we work with like a lot of great minds, bright minds all over the world.
Amazing. So basically, instead of having the fixed cost of hiring researchers, you pay researchers when they are successful. Like
Uh,
if the model
yes, in
is
general, yes.
improved.
Of course, we cannot. I mean, when we're talking about like high tech company, of course, you cannot rely only like external researchers. So we have
Right.
hierarchy of the problems we solve. For example, and we have speaking about our like 5 years plans. We divided all these research and development problems into three groups. The first one, it's a kind of must have, and we cannot afford ourselves to rely on somebody external. And like 95% of all the work is done inside. And like the second one is something that is a kind of important, and yes, we believe that it can be like useful part of our product. But if we do not, I mean, if we, for example, if we will not do it in time, not a big deal. It's like, and here we can make like joint researches 50-50. And speaking about like really uh, like difficult but and like visionary technologies, and when we have, for example, only like small chance that it can be potentially created, we can afford to give it to researchers, and it's their, their field, it's their job to find, because of course, yeah, so it's like well structured research flow.
Interesting. What is on your roadmap for next 5 years? What are the problems that you want to solve?
uh,
The research roadmap.
yeah, this roadmap like is like from the helicopter view. It is divided into streams. First is like, and by the way, it's very important. At least it's like our experience to important, very important to divide, to distinguish between development of the technologies and development of the products. It's different because when we're talking
Okay.
about development of technologies, it's significantly much more risky, because like there are always risks that technology will not be developed. Speaking about products, it's something closer to business, and to develop products you have to be sure that technology is ready. So that's two streams. So speaking about technologies, we have, if you're talking about air quality monitoring and management systems, we have, I would say, three main like streams. The first one, we want to make air quality sensors really small, really reliable, and really, really cheap. And there is no like fundamental limitations to do it as small as, I don't know, as watches. Technologies are not developed well yet. Of course, some pollutants, I mean, concentrations of some pollutants you can already measure within very small shape and within like lower cost. But we are talking about measurement of concentrations of all the, typical air pollutants. We are talking not only about CO2 and PM half. We are talking also about gaseous compounds like NO2, SO2, and some more. And it will take a lot of efforts to create it really small. And we follow several approaches how to do it, and we work with some institutions. And probably, if we will be lucky enough, in 5 years, we will create something real small. And after that, you can literally, stick this sensor to any wall, inside building, outside building, and you will have absolutely transparent, picture about air quality with like really, really high resolution and like real time. It's challenging. The second, like technological flow is to improve spatial resolution of I would say like air quality maps. So we need to know what is happening on on each and every street or quarter in the city. And of course, you can deploy like, I don't know, 100 sensors. Even if the sensors are reliable enough, you don't know what is happening between them. And here we already work on that. We already have some products. We have all these continuous maps with like quite high resolution. But
This
I
is
think that,
a math. There's a math
yes,
problem.
yes,
Okay.
and it's rather. I mean, I believe in physics-informed machine learning approach. So we have like two options. So, for example, we can create a really accurate math model or physics model of the atmosphere, but it will take forever to calculate, to simulate, because it's really, I mean, it's three-dimensional problem, and it is really costly in terms of operations of processor. It would be never solved in this way, because it's
Okay.
like very complicated. Another
Compute
approach,
heavy. Yeah.
yeah, another approach is like to use like to treat all this air environment in the city as a like black box, and say I can create a kind of neural network, and I will train it to, sorry, to answer all my questions. But it also doesn't work because we don't have enough data sets, and a lot of like peculiarities. And there is something in between. When you can say, I know something about physics behind these processes, but these physical models, they have a lot of parameters I do not know. And these parameters is exactly this neural network that can be used to solve this problem. It's like good approach. By the way, we have some initial project with the University of Arizona in this field, and it's like yeah, very promising. It's the second technology development direction, And the third one, I would say, but it's not about even like literal technologies, but something between technologies and products. When we are talking about indoor air quality monitoring and management systems we are working on, it's very important. Yeah, first of all, uh, I don't know, probably 1 month ago, there was a like nice and interesting article from World Economy Forum, and they tried to figure out how like humanity can reduce energy consumption in like global scale. And as I remember, the first bullet point was a kind of to use AI-based approaches to control HVAC systems in each and every building, and it will reduce if we measure energy in terms of money, it will reduce to trillions dollars. So to yeah, $2 trillion per year, something like that. It's a huge how to say a huge potential to reduce energy consumptions. Because yeah, it's also very important to mention, not to confuse our like viewers, that air quality inside the building, it's always coins with two sides. You have air quality, but at the same time, the better air quality, the higher the energy consumption. And we are talking not only about improving air quality, we are talking about finding a balance between air quality and energy consumption rates, right? And imagine that we set this task to ourselves, so we can, for example, measure all the parameters in like any building, and then we need to provide algorithms of automatic control of all the existing HVAC systems. And it's a big deal how to control them properly, how to find this balance. Because if I have enough time and enough resources, of course, I can create like model, aerodynamical model of the building, and I will know how to control all these thousands of handlers in this building in order to find balance. But it's crazy. I mean, it's a very time-consuming approach, and we need to find develop the algorithm or approach that will help to control these HVAC systems automatically. Again, it will be
And you
something
also need the
AI-based.
small sensors,
Definitely.
like to
But
achieve this. Yeah.
but speaking about indoor air quality, I think that sensors, they are already quite good, because again, there is no need to
Okay.
measure like SO2, NO2, and all this
Mm.
complicated stuff. CO2, PM2.5, maybe a little bit organic compounds in general, like volatile organic compound, it's enough. So speaking about indoor, here like sensing technologies are good enough, but algorithms that help to analyze, help to make or help you to get the recommendations what can be done, and that can control all your existing HVAC system. It's a big deal. It's not rather about technologies; it's rather about very complicated engineering problems. But yes, we are working on that.
Okay. Okay. Fascinating. Uh, and on the product side, what is the roadmap? So these are all technology roadmaps.
Yes. Speaking about products, I can, how to say, uh, distinguish two of them. It's exactly, like two product lines we will work for sure, and maybe we'll work on something else after we will have some extra feedback. So, of course, for example, speaking about air filtration or breathers, we need to completely solve. I mean, now, of course, now breathers are good enough to remove all the pollutants like PM2.5 and some of molecular compounds, molecular pollutants outside. But and if you're talking about filtering out or removing particles, it's easy part. We can apply like HEPA filters, and here's this technology and product is here. But when we are talking about removing all these gaseous pollutants, it is, I mean, this product or this part of the product can be and should be and must be improved, because for now it can remove like many of existing pollutants, but not all of them. And that's why the next generation of breathers we are working with, it's like ultimate solutions that also remove all these gaseous compounds. For example, the most complicated part to remove is CO, not CO2, but carbon monoxide. And this problem is not solved yet. I mean, only like this mask when firefighter use can remove it. But the problem is that this mask, this capsule, lives only for several hours because these catalysts they use, they for them like water is a poison, and after they capture some water, they stop working. But this problem must be solved if in ventilation systems and breathers also, and it will be a kind of creation of this module that help you to remove all the complicated and difficult gaseous pollutants. But it's like next generation. Also, we are working on as I already mentioned, integration of breathers and ACs. They could be integrated either in terms of control or in terms of the same, same elements,
Hardware.
same hardware. Yeah, and it's about like breathers. And speaking about mm, indoor air quality monitoring system, what we will do, like besides all this, holistic system for big buildings, we are going to launch, and I hope that we'll launch it really fast, like small, I would say, sub product. We call it air quality checkup. It will be our first product in the box that can be easily installed in each and every office, and you can get like initial understanding of what is happening, what are the reasons, and what can be done. And it will be a kind of your first step toward clean and fresh air. So this like three parts we are working currently. And but of course we adjust our product plans on yearly basis, because for now we have a lot of feedback and a lot of insights after 1 year of working in Indian market. And of course, our like vision of what we will do in terms of products will change accordingly to amount feedback we have.
Okay. This I want to try and understand a little bit about what is the pricing that you're thinking of and what pricing you have been doing. Um, what would be the pricing for like a breezer uh, a- for consumers? Are you currently selling it, or is it only for
Yes, yes,
office
yes.
buildings?
Yeah, we are already selling it. For now, like first of all our prices are absolutely transparent and available on our site. We have our website dnair.in, and all prices are there. And we have like more than one breather. That's why like prices are a little bit different, but they are around. So like price for one breather now is like less than 1 lakh, but not far away from that lakh, right? 100,000 rupees. But next year we will have also significantly cheaper, like family members of this product line. We are working on that right now. Speaking about indoor solutions, we prefer working as a in SaaS, according to SaaS model, or even like monitoring as a service, MaaS model. And this part strongly depends on the scale of office we are working on. If we're talking about like big buildings, really big, like skyscrapers, for example, if like subscriptional model, if we're talking about full-fledged system, it can be, I don't know, $50,000 per year, something like that. It's like typical check, but it's very
Okay.
beneficial for them because they can, after they apply it, they this how to say, the presence of that system and like a good performance of this system affects their business in two ways. If you're talking about like big buildings is about businesses, so first of all they can how to say, they can have more money from tenants because there is a dependence between the prices of your assets and air quality, and it's like confirmed. And the second beneficial part is that you can potentially reduce energy consumption rates. So like two ways to benefit from that. So this is not much for big buildings. Moreover, for some buildings, I'm not sure about India, but for some, speaking about some other countries, for example, United States, for some of them, to be able to monitor and to control air quality, to improve air quality and air safety, and to be able to communicate about this with these tenants, it's a kind of existential problem. It's not about like 10% of the revenue profit, because after the COVID, a lot of people run away and they don't want to go back. And that's why a lot of these buildings operators, they work like below the break even, below. I mean, they lose money, and they need some
Mm,
more tenants to start earning. And that's why some of them ready to pay a lot of money to improve air quality, to make it safe, and to be able to like to communicate, to advertise that air quality is safe.
mm.
Yeah,
Okay,
and speaking
okay,
about
interesting.
industries and cities, again, it strongly depends on the project. So, like
Mm,
range of prices can be like really different, starting from I don't know, $20,000 up to millions of dollars. It strongly depends on the scale and on the problems that they are going to solve.
mm. What is your ARR right now for Airvoice?
ERR, it is a revenue, right?
Yes, annual revenue
Yeah.
run rate.
Yes.
Yes.
Sorry, because still some terms in English not very familiar for me. Uh, for like since we like started it recently, it's not. I mean, um, it took some time, not even to understand the market, but rather to learn how to work. This year, our revenue, I hope, will be something around $1 million, not more than that. But it's good to start. So we
This
already
is
have
all
sales. We
from
have this.
India.
Yes, yes, because now we have only. I mean, IntelliCity Air India works only in India. So we have Airvoice, but all the Airvoice team decide not to defocus, not to how to say, not to spend time working on other markets. They decide to support IntelliCity Air India, and 100% of resources is focused here, and we work only in India because it's of course like we have requests from many countries, but they sound good. But to make this to convert this request to sales, it takes a lot of efforts, and I mean, it
Yes.
never works
Mm,
like that, right? If at least if you are not selling like I don't know mobile applications or mobile games, in this case, of course, it can be spread differently. But if you're doing something high tech and hardware and software and engineering complicated stuff, it will be always. I mean, it will always require like a lot of efforts on any given territory. So yeah, it will be all this like first initial like $1 million will be from India, and then we are uh, thinking that we will be able to grow quite fast. We will see where will come, but in our projections, we believe that in 5 years the scale of our business in terms of revenue will be like it will be several hundreds million dollars. It's possible. It's challenging, but it's possible. And at the same time, valuation will be like I don't know 1 billion because it's like fast growing markets and high margin products. So yeah, that's what we think about it, and we will see. We can and as we understand, we can how to say we can mistaken in terms of time. It can take longer than we
mm.
see now. But in terms
Right.
of potential, we will be there. Maybe
Mm.
not in five
Uh,
years, maybe in seven, maybe in 10. Doesn't really matter.
okay. Uh, and you want to remain India focused for how long? For how many years before you start going to other countries?
We will see. I mean, now we have decision. So first, first of all, at least this and next year, we will be focused on India, and then we will see. It will strongly depend on how our Indian team will be performing, because we will also going to create here like R&D departments and some more
Okay.
departments, and we will see if our University in India will become relatively independent, at least independent in terms of operations, not independent in terms of strategical view. We'll be able as a, like core team international, we will be able to focus somewhere.
Okay, okay. Uh, so, do you have like a pipeline of like cities or like? I'm just curious, how will you sell this to a city or to industries? What is the way, or like your Indian partners have those relationships to do these sales, or like?
Yes, we have. I mean, our Indian partners, they have very, how to say, broad network, and it's very useful. And we start working. For example, if you're talking about industrial companies in cities, we start collaborating with CII. It's a big agency that includes a lot of industrial companies. We started to work with at least two cities. It is Indore and Pune. And by the end of this year,
Okay,
we are going to complete first project, and we are already working. We are in these projects, and also we
these are
have
paid pilots with Indore and Pune.
uh, yes. I mean, one is not paid, another is paid. But to start,
Okay,
it's for us it doesn't really matter is it paid or not, but yeah, paid pilots is better, not because of the money but because of the, how to say, it
conviction.
means that, yeah, it means that like our counterparty is really like involved in this, and like
Yes,
even
yes,
by the way, it can cost the price can be, I don't know, $1. It's enough, because it means if they pay you even $1, it means that all these wheels is rolling, and they at least they officially agree.
yes, yes,
So
yes,
yeah,
yes.
and speaking
Right.
about industrial companies, we have at least we have one. Um, yeah, it is Jindal Steel and Power, and we have
Okay.
paid projects with them. And I
Hmm.
think that for this year it's enough. And moreover, now we are like speaking about these outdoor solutions for cities and industrial companies. Mm, it's already not our first priority here in India, because we are focusing on sales solutions for big buildings. Firstly, Airvoice indoor platform, and our future Airvoice AQG Cup, because here we have more chances to be more useful, because when we're talking about cities and industrial companies, yes, we solve the like problems, but in terms of air quality improvement, it's like far away from air quality improvement. Of course, it's the first step. So
Hmm.
to be more useful, of course, we are focusing rather on air quality inside buildings. Yes, and it's a priority system to monitor, to analyze, recommend, to control, and some solutions like breathers and some other like similar to breathers. These are first priority for now. Yeah, and speaking ambient air quality, after we complete first paid pilots, we will see how to organize this workflow, and how to organize this business department inside
The
Intelligence 3D.
the indoor solution of Airvoice, does it need you to like do fresh installations? Like if you have to install breezers, then like is that like centrally installed along with the HVAC system, or like
Yeah,
what is the impact on a building when you work
yeah,
with a building?
yeah. It's a good question. Uh, First of all, I mean, yeah, we start from installing Air, Voice, and Door like monitoring and management system, and after we collect data, and after we you know understand what this building is looks like, yeah, we can understand what can be done to improve air quality, and then we have different options. So first of all, if you're talking about big buildings where all like HVAC systems already exists, and there are a lot of that kind of buildings. We can do the following. And typically in these buildings with already existing HVAC systems, ventilation systems, there is no space to install breathers. And moreover, there is no need to install breathers. What can be done? We can, after like monitoring and analysis, we can do we can provide different types of recommendations. Some recommendations are like a kind of dynamic recommendations. For example, how they can adjust HVAC systems themselves, how they adjust regimes of how this HVAC system works. and it will also help because all these even like expensive and really expensive HVAC systems, they work far away from optimal. It's like 90% cases. The second
Okay.
category of recommendations we can do, it's like they are a little bit more complicated to follow, but it's rather about small like technical or physical changes in HVAC systems. For example, we can suggest to add some filtration section, or we can suggest adding some extra, ducts in recirculation regime, something like that. And that can be also done. And in this case, like typically you can like improve performance of your ventilation systems, I don't know, several times. And we have like really great case last, it's one of our last cases in one of the buildings that belongs to GSP. They had like really advanced ventilation system, and they thought that everything is okay and under control. And after we like monitored, we found out that levels of PM2.5 are really high, but at the same time they already used filters, and they used really good filters. I mean, at least how to say, it was these filters. They had labels that they are good, but it turned out to be different, right? And we changed the filters, but to change the filters, we how to say, we made some changes in HVAC boxes. Literally, we created some extra, extra hardware. We implemented filters. We did some more recommendations, and after that, we lowered concentrations of particles from 10 to 100 times in this building. And now air quality is just perfect. So yeah, and the third category of recommendations that can be done, it is like when, for example, you cannot how to say, use only like small adjustments. Sometimes you need to to reconstruct all the ventilation system. Sometimes it happens, not in like all the cases, but sometimes. And we can do that recommendations. We can explain how it can be created. It will, of course, it will cost like higher price. So it's rather about monitoring, analysis, recommendation, and automatic control. And it's very important part of this HVAC industry. It is like literally missing part of HVAC system industry. They spend huge money to install, but they work far away from optimum. And so we suggest like spending, I don't know, 5% more money, but get out of these HVAC systems 10 times more value. So that's like basic idea. But in the cases where, for example, breathers can be installed, for example, if they do not have HVAC system in like each and every room, and if they don't have facades made of glass, of course we can recommend to install breathers.
Okay. 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 And is the home market a focus for you?
Yes, if you're talking about breathers, yes.
Okay. Okay. But
What do you mean? Sorry, sorry.
home as in,
Maybe,
like consumer
yes,
market.
yes. In these terms, yes, of course. But I mean, now we work like, and we also have like direct sales to end users, and but our strategy is to work with our like dealers, distributors, architects, and so on, because we are not going to create direct B2C sales department. It's necessary to start ourselves. It's necessary to sell at least, I don't know, 100, 1,000 breathers to collect all the necessary feedback, to train our like installation team, because it's not enough to buy breather. You need to make small hole in the wall and to install it properly and so on. And after we sell
What
like
is the
1,000
size of the breezer? Like around the size of
breather,
a wall clock?
it is like, I don't know, box
Okay.
like
Like a
40,
TV,
40 centimeters.
32
Yeah,
inch.
not big TV. Yes, it's like
Okay.
I say 50 centimeters and 40
Okay.
centimeters and like 50.
Okay.
So
Okay.
not big.
Okay. Got it. Okay. Okay. And I am just wondering if the I mean, do you see a big demand for breezer? I just am not convinced that in the Indian summer there is enough demand for a product like this. Maybe for
Uh,
places which are not hot, like say Bangalore would be a good market. But
yeah, yeah, it's a like fair question. And what do we see? Like first of all, speaking about hot or like cold weather, it doesn't really matter because as I already mentioned, breezer doesn't replace AC. I mean, if anyway you must use air conditioner to cool your air
but
down.
the AC will become less effective if there is hot air coming from outside.
You have the similar amount of like income air if you do not use breather. You have opened windows, you have seals, sorry, slits, and anyway you have the same amount of heat coming from outside. That's my how to say statement. Breather, when
Okay.
you and there is always that kind of it's called like infiltration because otherwise you will suffocate. So you have all these flows, but they are not under your control. They are like from not sealed well windows and so on. So when you put breather, it makes some extra pressure inside, and that's how all these extra flows are stopped. And that means that balance in terms of energy, in terms of heat, is not destroyed. And we already have experience of exploitation of breezers during this summer. We already installed, I don't know, like 100 something breezers, and yeah, and they work like, I mean, they work perfectly, and there is no this issue. Of course, I mean the how to say the most difficult question is the following: uh, will be breezers, will they become a kind of uh, important and new part of mindsets or not? Because of course now it's quite difficult to explain the difference. After we manage to, for example, to install breather for somebody, this like person after that is really happy and can understand what is difference and is really happy using it, and we have very good feedback, right? But but it's quite challenging problem to explain, and to explain it's not in face-to-face meeting, but sometimes even in face-to-face meeting it's not as easy, but explain it like using marketing tools and so on. And this is the challenge, right? And this is the like problem we need to solve. Yeah, but again, speaking about heat, we can, I don't know, we can send you a breezer, we can give you a breezer for free, and you will install it and you can feel it how it works.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much. Okay. Is there a maintenance cost of the breezer? Like you need to change the filter every year or something like that?
Yes, we need to change it. It depends on city. Speaking about, for example, Delhi or Gurugram, you will need to change it 3 times a year, accordingly to
Okay.
our experience here.
And what
Like
does that cost, the filter?
again, it depends. I mean, it depends. First of all our prices are transparent and are on our site. I do not remember like
Ah,
exact numbers,
uh,
but you can see it.
yes.
But
Yes.
the price is also in how to say it's another part. If you're like looking at this situation as like at business, we need to understand that prices, it's something we can it's also a part of a product, right? And we have different options or wide options to how to say to choose the pricing model. And for
Mm.
now, we say that yes, we will start from like the top end breathers in terms of quality, in terms of efficiency, and so on. The prices are relatively high. Absolutely agree. It's not for everyone for now, of course, but that's how we typically start. And then we will see if there is if we will see the demand in the like how to say like a little bit lower levels of apartments and so on. Of course, we will create or will offer breezers within different pricing models with like lower price and so on. Moreover, prices will strongly depend, not prices but cost. Of course, they will depend on the volumes we can produce. So I
Okay.
mean, the prices it's not something forever. It's only, I mean, it's a part of our product and it's a part of our product strategy.
All right, understood. Okay. Let me end with this question. What are your observations about India as an outsider coming
Yeah,
to India? Like,
yeah. First of all, now I hope that I'm not already outsider. So first of all, I'm renting apartment here in Gurugram, and I spent a lot of time here in India. And my observations are the following. So when I first time came here 2 years ago, it was quite difficult for me because everything was so colorful, so noisy, so tasty, crazy, spicy, and it was not. I would not say that it was not comfortable, but it was a little bit, strange. But when I came here my fourth time, something changed and something switched in me, and I start feeling really, really comfortable, more comfortable than in many more countries. I feel, I don't know, I like it, I love it, or that all this, what is happening around. I love the, I would call it like smell of freedom. It's very, very like important. I don't know why, but I feel like it. And yes, I really love and I feel comfortable here. And it will be my home for next couple of years at least.
thank you so much for your time, Dimitri. It was a real pleasure.
Thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me.